Well, the caddy's all packed up. Everything's ready to go, including me. As soon as I get some breakfast downstairs, hit the road during daylight. If everything goes to plan, I should be out of Texas and into New Mexico before dusk. And it was a great weekend. I mean, working a room on your own is not easy. You know, the setup, if I hadn't have brought those ugly white foam panels, this room would have sounded like crap. And then taking Luca's advice to get at least one of those felt mattress covers from Amazon was a huge help dialing the room in. I got nothing but good comments. Everybody that came in, it was, they wanted to hear the Chesky speakers. I was rotating them with the Falcon F10s that Walter Swanbon lent me from Fidelis AV. Shout out to Walter. Shout out to Luca. Shout out to Leo at Orchard Audio. Shout out to Ernie at Argent Pure. I had more than enough cables to get the job done, and I brought my straight wire cables to wire up the 4 subwoofers. That was, a big help. And really, it was a really good weekend. Saturday was really busy. It was pretty much a packed house for most of the day. There was a few lulls, and basically, again, I would switch the speakers out in between the lulls, so both the Chesky LC1s and the Falcons had, fair playtime, so to speak. But the saving grace in all of this was that Lab 12 preamp, man. That tube pre just dialed the room right in, whether I was using the solid silver wired Argent Pure amps with the Orchard modules, or if I was using Leo's stereo version. And Sunday I decided to strip things down, just basically packed up Leo's amp, packed up the streamer, and used my Pecan Pie Plus DAC with the AKM chip all day Sunday with my 3-channel monster. I just terminated one of the unused channel with a big 100-watt 8-ohm load there, so I don't fry the amp. And yeah, it was a great weekend. Some of the highlights were I had a Canadian couple came in on Saturday, and I think they heard me playing Camera Eye down the hallway. So they're like, "What's going on in here?" Okay, cool. So I'm like, again, we take requests all day, right? I'll play the Chesky stuff, I'll play requests, and then if somebody tells me, "What do you want to hear, Joe?" Then I'll usually pull up. The big one was the Jim Keltner drum track off the Sheffield drum record that I ripped last year. That thing, I played it multiple times because people were amazed at the dynamics, especially on the Cheskies. It was like the woofers were moving, but there was no distortion, and you could hear every tiny little transient. It was like, when Jim Kettler just barely hits the cymbal, and then when he coughs at the end of it, that's the big laugh part. And yeah, nobody ever left the room when I played it. It was very cool, very cool. And yeah, so when the Canadian couple came in, oh, you got some Prism? I said, sure. Spaceship Superstar, A. So we played that, and then I followed it up with Troopers Boys in the Bright White Sports Car. And then when more people would load in, okay, now the fun's over. Now we got to start taking requests and stuff like that, which was great. I mean, I got exposed to a lot of good new music, and I literally sh- didn't hardly played any jazz. I think Friday I played more jazz stuff, than I did on Saturday, and most of the time it was all requests, some EDM stuff, some acoustic stuff, some the lady from the Absolute Sound came into the room. I think she's the marketing lady. I apologize, I forget her name. So she said, Nancy Griffith? Sure, because my buddy Dave Hortland turned me on to her stuff since she passed away. So played that kind of stuff. Played some Linda Ronstadt. I played from Diamonds and Rust, A Simple Twist of Fate, Joan Baez's version when she does her Dylan impression in it. It's great, great stuff. And really, it was what can I say? It was really worth the 14-hour drive. Mind you, I 10 hours and then 5 hours kind of thing. I can't do the long drives like that. I cannot drive at night anymore. So I just basically stick to daylight, keep it safe, stay within the speed limit, keep the cops away. And, we had a lot of fun with the show staff, Uh, I'm not going to get into any sort of details and, telltale stories and things like that. That's just not cool, you know. But I guess we could say the secret word for tonight, to paraphrase Frank Zappa, is pants on. And definitely, to use John Lennon's quote, a splendid time was guaranteed for all. And really, there was another issue where it was on Sunday. Yes, it was yesterday. So I'd swapped the amps out. I'd packed the other stuff up, and it was Saturday night, stone sober. I wasn't drinking, even though there was booze in the room. Brian from the show, we were playing some music after hours and stuff. So I said, okay, let's swap the amps out. And he was able to hold stuff up while I was sliding stuff in and out and swapping cables around. And luckily, it was early Sunday when this gentleman came in. And, I was playing some request stuff. And the gentleman was like, Joe, your channels are switched around. And you've got a channel out of phase. I'm like, what? And instead of me being a prick and saying, no, you're wrong, no, everything's perfect, I checked it. No, sure as shit, I had the left into the right and the right into the left. And I think the right channel speaker was red to black and black to red. And honestly, guys, I wasn't into the booze until after we got everything set up. And shit happens, right? And because it was Sunday, I still wanted to make everything perfect. Well, sure as shit, after I got everything sorted out, the room filled up again. So I had 2 solid 1-hour sessions where the room, and because I had to use the long wall, as you guys saw in the pictures, I could only seat a maximum of 6 people. 7 if you go person, sitting way off axis there. And I had situations on Saturday even where they were lined up at the door. And the cool thing with this show is you've only got 2 floors. You've got the ballrooms downstairs, and then you've got every one of us on the second floor. And because the hotel is so long, I really got my steps in this weekend. If people say we'll be back later, and they came back, and it was very cool, I kept my Amazon playlist there for all the requests, because some of the tracks that the guys, some of the folks were giving me were really, really cool stuff. And the beauty was, it was a demo music free zone. And I was kind of shocked I didn't play as much jazz stuff as I thought I would, But people really liked the sound of the room, and people were impressed at how I was able to get it to sound so good with no DSP, just my foam panels, Luca's felt mattress cover, and just situating everything, properly. And then I used the edge of the sofa as the sweet spot, because you can't move this fucking sofa, man. The fucking thing weighs a ton. And yeah, I guess that's about it, guys. I mean, when I did the seminar, a customer of Leo's named Arun, and he brought his posse with him. I forget the gentleman's name. I think one of them was Sumit, and I forget the other gentleman's name. Anyways, so he was a big help, and I'm definitely gonna, I want to give him a shout out, along with my friend Craig, who I met at Southwest Audiofest last year. His son was with him this year, and his son's awesome. I mean, so Craig handled the room for me while I was doing the seminar. Super, super nice. So I told him just Amazon Music, no problem. Well, what happened was, as I was finishing the seminar, his son came down, and he says, Joe, my dad says one of the tweeters is blown on the Chesky speakers. And, he's a kid, and he's a good kid, right? And I didn't freak out or like, oh, no. I wrapped everything up, grabbed my stuff, went upstairs, I saw Brian, and Brian's like, Joe, listen to this tweeter, man. He plays the track on Amazon. And I'm like, fuck. Turns out, when I played one of my local files, the distortion was gone. So I said, okay, let's shut down Amazon, just fire it up again. Let's play that same track. The distortion was now gone. And I know what happened was we have our own, they gave us our own VLAN for the show. So Dan, who's the technical guy, and by the way, a shout out to everyone at the show staff. Emiko, Sophie, Dan, Daryl, Manny, Brian, and if I forgot anybody, you can shoot me now, but whatever. You guys were amazing. On Mike, fuck. Okay, so Mike and Brian helped me unload on Friday, which made unpacking the caddy so much easier with two people and holding the doors and getting the elevators. Those guys are fucking awesome, all of them. You know, Manny, he helped me out during the seminar. You know, handling the microphone duties and stuff like that for the people that came. And again, everyone who came to that seminar, thank you very much. It's the first time I ever did something like that. So a shout out to all of you folks. And a huge fucking shout out to Nick and Larry over at SVS. Those guys saved my fucking brown Canadian ass Thursday. What happened was I thought I got 2 sets of solid silver cable from Ernie, because I told him I'm running 2 independent setups between the Falcons and the Chesky. So it's 2 different sound signatures, 2 different price points, and there's not going to be any of this versus that speaker, because that's not why I'm here. So I needed extra cable to connect the subwoofers because I was using the high level inputs. So I'm running everything off the speaker terminals, just like I do at home, right? I have the front subwoofers in the room, 0 degrees, and I have the back ones beside the sofa, 180 degrees out, and I have them facing each other, right? So you get that whole pull push thing, and I had everything dialed down so that the focus was on the Chesky speakers, the focus was on the Falcons, not on the subs. I didn't want boomy bass in here, and without those subs, my foam panels from home and that bed cover, this room would have sounded absolute ass. You know, you can probably hear the echo in the room just from me talking. And so that all said, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I drank a lot Saturday night. I met my new buddy Andrew. He's a dealer in Dallas. Super nice guy. I mean, we had a ton of fun. We were in Toby's room with the green electrostatic speakers and also the desktop electrostatic setup. Blew my fucking mind, and that was at 12 o'clock at night. So they kicked us out at 1. Andrew and I were goofing around in the parking lot, and then we were shooting the shit up here. I gave him a quick demo of the music here and all that stuff, and he actually was shocked how good it sounded in here with what little I had to make it work. You know, and a lot of people didn't even realize there was 4 subwoofers in here, you know, because I had the one sticking out proud and loud in the front, and then I had another one in the back corner there behind the science project and the sound design rack, which a lot of people got a kick out of because everybody had those things back in the day. And you know, my friend Craig gave that to me last year, and I kept it in the garage just for holding junk, but I needed it for the show. And then I had the one out of phase sub here and the other out of phase sub there, which nobody really realized, you know. And yeah, guys, I mean, I don't want to make the video too long. I'm gonna edit the seminar and post that later this week, you know, because I got to get back to my regular day job, right? You know. And guys, yeah, that's it. Thanks to everyone who came to the room for all 3 days. You know, your great comments are so appreciated. I gave Luca updates, I gave Leo updates, I gave Walter updates, I gave Ernie updates, how things were going. I sent them pictures. The show staff took some really cool video. And that's it, man. That's a wrap. See you guys when I get back to Phoenix, and have a good one. Have a good rest of your week. Cheers. Bye for now.